Hello and welcome to the first video of the Ionic series. Throughout the series, I'll be helping you get started with the Ionic framework. In this particular video, I'll be helping you create a simple registration page, only the front end and the validation portion as to how to get started with variables, what is an ng model, and the backend portion or the backend integration portion will be shown in the next video. So as you can see already, I have created a page called the rec page or the registration page in short. So each page when generated contains 5 files: one HTML file, one CSS file, and 3 TypeScript files. Specifically, we'll be using this file .page.ps file for now, and the functions of the other two files will be explained in the upcoming videos. So let's get started with the design portion. So we'll be using iron card here. So iron card basically gives a boundary here, as you can see, like the cards which you see on Google Assistant or in case of Play Store. So these are the cards which we'll be using. So before that, let us just navigate to the registration page, and as you can see, there's nothing here, it's completely blank. We'll be adding some content here using iron card. So let's create a simple form, say having 5 fields: first name, last name, phone number, password, and confirm password. So hmm, let's use iron item. Iron item basically acts as a container for holding both the table and the input field together, and also has a default style with a slight gray bar at the bottom, which you will see in just a moment. Let me just write the field name. Okay. Ion input type equals to text. There are many input types which you can use: password, text, for telephone or phone number, email, and many more which you may use, but these are the standard ones. So if we just save this, then we'll see it's compiling. After every save, the code compiles itself, so you get to see results instantly. So here is our first name field and it's working fine here. So now if you remove the iron item portion, you'll see that iron label and iron input gets separated. So as you can see, the iron input and iron output, iron label gets separated, and we use iron item, as I said earlier, since it acts like a container for holding the two, and it has a default gray border style which you'll see. Okay, so let's just go on the rest of the field. 5 is 1 2 3 4 5. First name, last name, phone, input type will be tel, password, confirm password, type will also be password, small, and if you save it, so let's see, and tada, we have our form here: first name, last name, phone, password, and confirm password. So now we'll add a button, clicking on which will trigger a function. I'm not adding the function just here or the trigger just here, so register. So the registration button has appeared here, and as you can see, it isn't in line with, or like it isn't stretched like the input field. So if you want to stretch it, you can use, like, if you want to make it of the same length as that of the input fields, then just use expand equals to block and control S. And expand equals to block work. So now we may want a slight adding here, because the fields end-to-end stretch was doesn't give any meaning. Like usually a form starts from the beginning of the input field, but the input field between we cannot go, so we'll add a padding here using iron card content. And here you can see a padding or slight gap has been given to the form, and looks pretty good now. So now we'll want to add some variables here. Not variables, like you, like we'll want to take the user input and store it in a variable, right? So in order to do that, we'll use the ng model attribute, which is a Typescript thing. Ng model binds the input to the variable. What does that mean? For example, when the input changes, the variable of the value, the value of the variable, sorry, changes instantly. So in case of other scripting languages, we'll have to like give a on change method in order to like, and some other conditions in order to get the exact value when the variable changes, when the value changes. So, but not in case of TypeScript as such, because TypeScript handles this stuff under the hood by ng model. So we'll just copy this ng model, I'm sorry, keep on pasting it. So, confirm, and the variables have been added to the input fields, or like binded to the input fields. So in order to understand what I actually meant earlier, that it binds the input field to the variable, that is ng model binds the input field to the variable. So let's just change this to the same variable, and you will understand what happens when we change the variable, and when it changes the value of the input field, or like when we want to delete the value. Okay, so let's just type in our name here, Piyush, and as you can see, the variable, the variable value gets copied, and as soon as I delete it, the same thing happens. So understand how ng model works now, and why it is more beneficial than the plain simple way of taking the value of the field attaching it to the onChange method or onChange function first and then updating the value. So we can just do it with the help of ng model. Okay, so now everything is done here. For now, we'll now head to the registration file and we'll declare these variables which we have named. So first name is the variable name followed by colon and then the data type as to whether it will be string, if it is some kind of text, character, whether it will be a number. So depending on which I can give string. Last name can be string. For phone number it can be number, or if you're unsure for certain reasons, or if you face some error in the code, then you for the data type, then you can just go with any. Any comes in really handy at this point of time. String confirm string. Okay, now there is one more method that I like to show, that is the onChange method, which comes in really handy during conditional checking, that if a person has this or if a person's situation is like this, then show a certain set of options. For example, if someone's stream is computer science, then the respective subjects will be shown. If EC, then those respective subjects will be shown on change. So let's just add a field here. For example, say gender. ng model can be used for the ion input, ion select, and ion text area. Basically, any field for which the user have to give an input. Select files, select option, fill other, and let's just attach ng model. General, let's just save it and let's attach an ion change, which is what I was talking about earlier. On change, that as soon as the select option change, that is as soon as the user selects the option, confirms it, then this method will get triggered. Okay, now let's just add this. To call any variable, any global variable, you'll have to use this keyword, and I didn't declare anything there, so let's just give it string. And here we can see that if we change the male to show male, if we change to female, it will show. So this works. So this was basically for showing you all. Now to show you the form validation portion. On clicking the registration button, on clicking the button, a function will be triggered that will check if the form has been correctly filled or not. You can give a bunch of validations which you need. For this video I'll be showing you simple verifications, or rather validations in fact. So let's just check if the phone is of a desired length or not. Then not equals to 10 if this one is a phone number is not correct, else if this dot password not equals to this dot confirm those the passwords situation. If they are not same, then show the show both passwords not the same. If both these validations are cleared, then back and enter. So what did we just check here? If the phone length, if the entry of the phone number given is not of length 10, then the phone number will be stated as incorrect. If it is of length 10, then it will move on to the next validation, that is password. If password and confirm password are not the same, they will display a message that both passwords are not same. If they are same, then it will move to a final step of the process, that is the backend integration portion, that it will send the data to the server. That it will the data which you have entered, it will get stored on the server side. Okay, so let's just add button. So let's just add a trigger using the click attribute. So let's just modify it a little bit to understand. Let's just check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 1, and phone number is not correct. 0. Your form has been successfully filled because of the matter. Password and confirm password don't have any value. So if they don't have any, if both of them don't have any value, then they are same. The values are same. So let's just give something a 1 2, and we say both password not the same. 1 2, and hooray, your form is successfully filled. So let's just modify some stuff here to give this form a better look. So the example will placeholder is not the value of a variable, it's just for the convenience of the user to understand as to what it is, and it is like a shadow in case of the code, that it doesn't affect the code. It's similar to the comments which you give in a code, that they are in the code but they don't like affect a or affect any kind of compilation or the program execution. So placeholders are similar to comments. Not sure needed for the placeholder plus 91 x x x okay, and password should consist of So as you can see, the placeholders have been applied successfully. Now, as you can see, whenever the fields are empty, there is the button which is still enabled, or like we can click on that button and it is not something good enough. So we'll just initialize the variables here. Blank form checking is an important part of any kind of the product development, provided it has a form. So let's initialize it there, and we can check if the form is blank or not using like in the submit method as well, but the easiest way probably will be from here using the disabled attribute. We'll write the conditions here that first name not equals to last name. Sorry, disabled if first name equals to blank, then disabled. If last name equals to blank, then also disabled. So password. If the inside conditions are true, then only the registration button will be disabled. Okay, so phone or gender. Save it. And the button is visible, so let's just check if it is working or not. Will Smith mail 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 1 2 3 4. Will it work or will it not work? 1 2 3. Yep, it worked fine. So, and phone number is not correct. We missed a 3 here. So, hurrah! We have successfully filled the form and we have created a fast registration page. We can add some CSS or some other styles here, which I'll show in later videos. And if you don't like the stretched view, then you can put in the responsive mode, because ultimately it will be running on the platform as desired. So it's better to check both ways. And so this ends our first video. In the next video, I'll show you the backend integration and how the data will be sent to the server, and I'll be sharing the GitHub link in that video as well. So till then, practice Ionic. If you have any kind of questions or queries, just ask in the comments below. So like, share and subscribe.